afternoon, everyone. When I was growing up, I had a good friend named Cole, and he was known for doing a lot of wild stuff back in the day. He always would go on over and over again about how excited he was to turn 21 so he could finally start drinking. Now that day finally came, and I was over at my friend's lake house, and we're sitting on a fire, and he's not with us. He's somewhere else out of college, doing some stuff, and he just turned 21 that night, so he was going crazy, and we're kind of just wishing him over the phone happy birthday and stuff like that. Now it gets later into the night, and we end up getting a phone call that he's in the hospital. Now, we had no idea what happened. Comes to find out the next morning we get there, and it was related to a drinking and driving accident, and he is now paralyzed from the waist down. So I'm going to talk about how the drinking age should be lowered to 18 to more so reduce these risks of how happy they are when they turn 21 to start drinking. So in 1984 is when the U.S. decided that every state should turn 21, because before that it was just state decision, and they could choose who they wanted to, the ages that they could have. And because of that, the main reason was because in 1970s to 1980s there was a huge drinking and driving problem going through the U.S., and they decided that it was done, it needed to be 21 because most of those accidents were coming from the 18-year-olds. Now, nowadays, I would like to go against that because there's stricter law nowadays with enhanced enforcements. So there's a lot more law enforcement that you see throughout the roads and stuff like that, and tons of alternate transportation. You got to think about Lyft, Uber, and especially if you're in the city, there's trains everywhere nowadays, and phones in that way are way more accessible to people. So if you just need to call somebody or something like that, I always feel like that's the easiest thing nowadays. I mean, back then phones would be through the wall or something like that. You couldn't really call if you're out and about. But with phones being so accessible, and Apple Pay too, it's so easy to either just call a friend or get on your debit and just Apple Pay an Uber somewhere. So that eliminates a lot of the reason why they decided to make it 21 in the first place. Now, for the 18-year-olds that are going to college, it is proven that nowadays, by the alcohol research and health education, that most kids, when they hit college, are already drinking either way before they're 21. And because they think it's some forbidden thing, that now that they're already doing one forbidden thing, it's going to lead to a lot more, because they're like, oh, I'm already breaking the law. Now I'm going to go do something else that's dumb because I'm already breaking the law, I'm already on edge, and I like this feeling. So now they get this power, and then they want to go abuse the power by doing more. So if you just make it 21, it would stop that as a whole, and they would already be feeling more comfortable drinking, and they could do it in environments that could be supervised, because a lot of those areas that they drink at when they are 18, 19, 20, stuff like that, comes to unsupervised house parties. And what that does there is that allows for more dumb decisions to be made, because that goes back to how they start doing more forbidden activities that could get them in trouble. Now, also, if you allow them to start drinking at bars and events and social things that are supervised, they could get more of an experience on how to drink better at an early age, so when they do hit 21, that they aren't on some crazy level because they're so happy that they finally hit 21 after waiting 21 years to finally be able to drink, and they think it's cool because they just hit it, they want to show everything off, and then they go way too crazy, and for the most part, that's when bad stuff starts happening. Now, also, I'm going to talk about how I went to Finland at one point, and in Finland, they had the drinking age at 18, and how they did it, which I really did see, for the people that are like, oh, an 18-year-old drinking 45% alcohol, that's a little too much. Now, how Finland does it was up until 20, they could buy up to 20% alcohol. So now they're drinking mostly beers, light liquor, and stuff like that, and they get more of a feel and a taste of how alcohol is in a lesser way than going out and buying a bottle of Jack that's 35%, 40%, and getting smoked and getting hammered and doing dumb decisions because of that type of stuff. So all that goes to say that starting off maybe at at 18, 19, 20, you're drinking 20%, they're mainly drinking beers. Now, it's gonna, whenever they start doing the 45s, it's not gonna be off the rip, and they're not gonna go out, be 21, and instantly buy a bottle of 45% alcohol, and then they don't know their drinking limit yet. So they go out and they drink way too much because they don't know that they're drunk yet, and next thing you know, they've killed themselves or killed somebody. So how I want to start solving this is petitions, by signing petitions, whether it's a QR code, passing it around on paper and having people sign it. That'll lift it up and bring it into the internet, that people will start seeing that it is a more common trend, reading about this type of stuff that I talked about, and hopefully it gets pushed up higher and higher levels throughout social media until it can hit Congress, like the judicial branch, the legislative branch. And so thank you.